Inside the Rockefeller Museum in Jerusalem, fragment 4, Q530, sits in a climate-controlled vault maintained at precisely controlled humidity. The parchment measures 9.2 centimeters wide, smaller than a human hand. Direct handling has been restricted by the Israel Antiquities Authority since 1967. The text is written in Aramaic, copied no later than 50 BCE, and it names the giants individually, every name still legible today. Council of Laodicea, 363 CE, removed, rejected, erased. 34 years later, the Council of Carthage sealed the canonical exclusion permanently, and the Book of Enoch disappeared from Western Christianity for over a millennium. Then in 1773, Scottish explorer James Bruce returned from Ethiopia carrying Ethiopic Enoch manuscripts. 1400 years after the ban, the text resurfaced. What it describes is not allegory. It is recorded history, the reign of giants, their names, their acts, and the precise location of their remains. In the next several minutes, you will see 3 textual witnesses, 1 physical location, and 1 presence that has never fully left. If forbidden biblical history is what you're after, subscribe now. Every week we go back into the archive and pull out what was removed. The oldest surviving Greek manuscript of this material is the Gizeh fragment, recovered from Egypt in 1886. Scholar R.H. Charles translated it into English in 1906, producing the standard academic edition still cited today. The passage corresponds to the opening verses of the 6th chapter, the moment the watchers make their decision. The Aramaic word used for these beings is ayir, not angel, not spirit. Ayir means sentinel, one who never sleeps, one whose function is to watch without ceasing. That is the precise term the text uses, not a poetic flourish, a designation. 200 of them are named. Their leader is Shemahaza, and the text records their descent on a specific mountain, Hermon, at an elevation the ancient scribes described with striking geographic precision. Mount Hermon rises to 2,814 meters above sea level. It sits at the convergence of what are now the borders of Lebanon, Syria, and Israel. The text identifies it by name, by location, by function. The scribes who copied this had no satellite imaging, no topographic survey data, no cartographic tradition that would have produced coordinates of that accuracy. Yet the mountain is exactly where the text places it. The offspring of the Watchers and human women are described in units the translator renders as cubits, 300 cubits. A cubit in the ancient Near East measured approximately 18 inches, the distance from elbow to fingertip. Run that calculation, and the text is describing beings that stood roughly 450 feet tall. That number is not softened in the manuscript. It is not qualified. It sits in the parchment as a recorded measurement. What followed their arrival is documented with the same forensic flatness. The giants consumed all available grain, then all livestock. Then, when nothing remained, they turned on human flesh. The text does not editorialize. It lists the sequence as a logistical account, supply exhausted, next source consumed. Charles's 1906 translation renders the passage without mitigation. The giants are described as having devoured the labor of all mankind and then the mankind itself. The Gizeh Greek fragment uses the verb katestheo, to eat down, to consume completely. Not to harm, not to attack, to consume. The word carries a finality that the English translation only partially captures, and the earth registered what was happening. The text records it explicitly. A cry rose from the earth itself, carrying the voices of the human dead upward. That cry reaches the 4 archangels. It is that cry that sets the remainder of the text in motion. Every element in this sequence, the named leader, the named mountain, the elevation, the offspring, the consumption, the cry, appears across multiple manuscript traditions. The Gizeh Greek fragment, the Ethiopic manuscripts James Bruce recovered, the Aramaic fragments from Cave 4 at Qumran, 3 independent textual lines carrying the same account. The text does not present this as vision or parable. It presents it as event, with names, a location, a sequence, and a consequence that the next portion of the record describes in precise and unsettling detail. And this is where it gets disturbing, because the text names exactly what happened to their bodies next. The record is precise. First Enoch, passage 7, verses 3 through 5. The Ethiopic manuscript is Abadianus 55, held in the Bibliothèque Nationale de France. The translation is Michael Knibb's 1978 Oxford edition, the standard against which every subsequent rendering is measured. The text does not describe large men causing trouble. The Ge'ez term is nagasht. It means those who reign by force, sovereigns, rulers who impose dominion without consent. The distinction matters enormously. This is not a description of physical size. It is a description of political reality. A class of beings who ruled, who consumed, who took what the earth and its creatures could not replace. The passage lists what they consumed in sequence. First the labor of men, then the animals. Then, when animals were exhausted, they turned on the human population directly. And then the text records something that has no parallel in any other ancient document from this period. The earth itself filed a complaint. That is not a metaphor. The structure of the passage is legal. A petition moving upward through a hierarchy. The earth, described as a living party to an agreement, sends a formal cry to the heavens because the terms of its existence have been violated. The Ge'ez renders this cry as a sustained, documented grievance, not a groan, a legal filing. He had no way to construct that image from observation. The concept of the earth as a rights-bearing entity submitting formal complaint to a higher court is not a feature of any known ancient Near Eastern legal tradition. Yet there it sits, in a manuscript copied before the 9th century, preserving a tradition the Dead Sea fragments confirm predates the Common Era by centuries. Now consider what the sediment record shows. Soil core data extracted from sites across 4 continents. Work compiled and published through the Quaternary Science Reviews. Documents a mass extinction event at the boundary of the Younger Dryas, dated to approximately 10,800 BCE. The species loss rate at that boundary is not gradual. It is a spike. Megafauna disappear from the record inside a window that, geologically, is nearly instantaneous. The biomass collapse is global. The signal appears in cores from North America, Europe, the Levant, and Central Asia simultaneously. The text calls it the cry of the earth. Geologists call it biotic collapse. Same event. 12,000 years of separation between the record and the confirmation. Enoch does not leave the complaint unanswered. The text states that judgment was issued in response, a specific judgment, a named mechanism. And what that mechanism was, the text describes it in terms that the next portion of the record makes impossible to dismiss. The fragment is 4Q204. It was recovered from Cave 4 at Qumran. It is currently cataloged and held by the Israel Antiquities Authority. The translation used here is from the critical edition produced by the International Dead Sea Scrolls publication team, based on direct examination of the Aramaic text. The passage corresponds to 1 Enoch, verses 8 through 10 of the 15th chapter. It addresses a question the previous section leaves open. The giants were destroyed. The flood came. Their physical bodies entered the ground. But the text does not end there. It makes a second declaration, one that is legally distinct from the first. The Hebrew term in this passage is ruah. In most contexts, ruah means breath, or wind, or spirit in a general sense. But the usage here is technical. The passage specifies disembodied ruah, spirits that have been separated from physical form by force, not by natural death. The distinction is deliberate and precise. These are not souls at rest. They are ruah declared earthbound by divine decree. The text says they were assigned to the earth, not permitted to ascend, not permitted to dissolve. Bound here, active, until a specific future judgment. The bodies went into the strata. The spirits were ordered to remain on the surface. He could not have known what the strata would eventually show. No one in the ancient world possessed the tools to read sediment columns. Yet the text places the physical remains of these beings in the earth, and modern stratigraphy has confirmed that the younger Dryas boundary layer, the same horizon where the biotic collapse signal appears, contains anomalous deposits across multiple continents that researchers have not fully accounted for. Now consider the marine record. Sediment cores extracted from the Black Sea floor, analyzed in work published through the Marine Geology Journal, document an abrupt marine transgression dated to approximately 5,600 BCE. Saltwater from the Mediterranean broke through what is now the Bosphorus and flooded a freshwater basin in a catastrophic inundation event. The stratigraphic signature is a sharp, clean line. Below it, freshwater organisms. Above it, marine fauna. The transition is not gradual, it is a boundary. The text calls the aftermath of the giant's destruction a world reshaped by water. The bodies are in the strata below that line. But here is what makes this stranger than anything the sediment cores can explain. The passage in 4Q204 does not describe the spirits of the giants as a historical footnote. It describes them in present tense legal language. They are active. They are earthbound, they cause affliction, and the text sets a termination date for their activity, the day of the Great Judgment. A day the passage explicitly states has not yet arrived at the time of writing, which means, by the text's own internal logic, the decree has not yet expired. The fragments are not lost. 4Q530 and 4Q204 are publicly cataloged in the Leon Levy Dead Sea Scrolls digital library right now. The Aramaic text is photographed line by line and accessible to anyone with an internet connection. No institution restricts the viewing. No credential is required. The evidence is sitting there, open, waiting. 1 Enoch 15 verse 9 states that the spirits of the giants remain active upon the earth until the day of the Great Judgment. That day, according to the text itself, had not arrived when those words were written. Nothing in the manuscript record indicates it has arrived since. The decree is still in effect. The text says so. The fragments confirm it. And the library is open. Which name in 4Q53 unsettles you most? Leave it below. If the Forbidden Biblical Archive calls to you, subscribe. We open it every week.